Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to SMG Viewers Comments episode 135. It's been a while since we've been back in the studio. Let's get right to it.
Hey Glenn, how do you feel about Andy Sneap taking over Glenn Tipton's live duties? Do you think he's the right choice? And do you even have an opinion, or do you think that Glenn knows best? This is me just wanting to hear the words Judas Priest on yet another YouTube video. By the way, Glenn Tipton is my favorite guitar player, but I'm still, for lack of a better word, bummed about his condition.
Great question. This is very relevant for those of you guys who don't know. Glenn Tipton, lead guitar player in Judas Priest, had to bow out of the tour. He just announced this last week. They were going to be touring this spring, and he has to bow out due to complications from Parkinson's disease. He's 70 years old this year and just physically can't play the guitar the way how he used to be. For some of you newer guys, yeah, Judas Priest is one of the all-time greatest metal bands ever. Glenn Tipton is a magnificent guitar player, definitely an inspiration for a ton of people, myself included. I think Andy's the perfect choice. He's engineering the new record. Tom Allen came out of retirement to produce the new record. So far, what we've been hearing has been really good. This is probably going to be the best Priest record they've done since Painkiller. And I'm looking forward to seeing him out on the road. I mean, like, it's going to suck that Glenn won't be on stage. But yeah, I think Andy's going to be a great fit. You know, Andy is pretty much responsible for so many of us having careers these days. Yeah, it's going to be great to see him on stage. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Sign me up, Gwen!
Hey, Ola, thanks for chiming in there, bud. Not sure if that was an intentional or an autocorrect. Whatever. Always glad to hear from you. There you go, Ola England, another guy who got started on the Andy Sneap forum. Ola, of course, has the new Solar Guitar Company out, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on one. If you guys want to see a Solar guitar being reviewed on the show, please let me know in the comments below, and I can send those to Ola, and hopefully we can get one of them on here.
Have you ever considered attending 70,000 Tons of Metal?
Yes, actually, all my friends go every year after NAMM, and I always wind up missing it, and I really want to do it one year. So yeah, I would love to be there. Hopefully I can do it next year. And if you guys go, yeah, I hope to see you there.
For us noobs out there, can you touch more on Sum de Mono? I'm sure I can figure it out eventually, but sometimes those little details might help the guy starting out. Thanks for the epic content as always.
Fantastic question, man. Sum de Mono basically means you take your stereo mix and you change it to a mono mix. Most DAWs will have a button on your master fader that says mono. If you hit that, it's going to collapse the stereo field. The idea being is if your mix sounds good in mono, it's going to sound great in stereo. It might sound a little weird with the guitars if you're double tracking, that sort of thing, but generally if you can get the drums and bass and the vocals all kind of sitting together on that one channel and everything's nice and clearly defined, you're not going to have any problems at all when you get to stereo. It's still very much a thing you should check all the time. I mix in mono all the time. It's a great way to work. I highly recommend, if you're taking your engineering seriously, get used to hitting that mono button.
The 2-mic cheap mixer technique is a killer setup. Was thinking about getting a converter. After watching this video, that went out the window. Glenn just saved me enough money to buy another guitar. Don't tell the missus, LOL.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to read a lot of nonsense in the forums and whatnot, and people blather on and on and on. Oh, it's your converters. It was this, it's that. You know, I had a hard time figuring out why I wasn't getting the guitar sounds I wanted, you know, and Gearsluts had me convinced that it was because I wasn't spending, you know, $4,000 or $5,000 on my converters. Turns out it was a bad SM57. I bought a new one, and away we went. That's what you should be looking for, where there's evidence, not just somebody's opinion, but when they can back up what they're saying with evidence, and that's what I do on this show. Yeah, the 2-mic thing with the cheap mixer works great. Turns out a lot of those cheap mixers are awesome for metal tones. I'm going to be doing something in the next week or two with another cheap mixer I think you guys are going to like. Make sure you stay tuned for that. By the way, yes, I'm getting closer to my goal here of hitting 250,000 subs. So I ask you guys, please, if you can, hit the subscribe button, and if you haven't, hit the notification bell and just get involved and leave a comment. I'm trying to reply to just about everybody at this point. So if you can, leave a comment below, leave a question below, and hopefully I can put it on viewers' comments because I really want to hear what you guys have to say.
Hey Glenn, out of curiosity, have you ever recorded with electronic drum sets? If so, can you please go over the pros and cons of that compared to traditional drums?
Tim, that is a fantastic question. Yes, actually, I started out with a set of Tama Techstars, the hex drums with 5 cymbals. Then I moved over to V drums with like completely artificial cymbals. And then, after listening to the drummers bitch, and then bitch some more, and then bitch even more, and then they still bitched, and then bitched about bitching, I started bringing in the acoustic elements back in. I think one project I brought in cymbals, and then another project after that I brought in toms, and then it was a snare, and then lastly the kick. So it was kind of like, I built up my drum skills project by project. I thought the V drums sounded pretty good. Obviously, by today's standards, they were pretty laughable. This would have been about 99, 2000, something like that. I remember spending quite a bit of money on a good set of V drums, and I thought they were going to be great. And like I said, the drummers did nothing but complain about them. Anyway, electronic kits can be good, but just remember you're going to take a lot of heat from the drummers if you're planning on recording bands. If you don't know how to record real drums, you might want to try live cymbals, with overheads and whatnot, and a live drum set, but maybe triggers or something like that until you get, your recording skills up to speed and using real acoustic drums. That'd be my suggestion anyway. Hey guys, just wanted to take a second to let you know about the URM Academy's Ultimate Drum Production course. It's 20 hours of video teaching you everything you need to know about recording drums, from the basics like setup, head choice and muting, to the finer points of mic placement and mixing. It'll teach you how to record a whole kit with a single mic, or how to set up a complex microphone array. And it'll show you how to do it for numerous styles, from classic rock to alternative to metal. I'm endorsing this because it emphasizes real drums, something I've been promoting for years on this show. If you have ever wanted to learn how to record drums and make them sound awesome, then sign up for the free webinar this weekend. This will detail the entire course, and you'll get an extremely cool drum recording cheat sheet, plus a video on muting floor tom with cotton balls, just for signing up. There are only a couple of webinars left, so I recommend getting signed up as soon as possible, and the course will only be available until March 7th. Check the link in the description below. Now back to the show.
What's the difference between a vacuum cleaner and a bass player? Nothing. They both suck.
Get this man a beer.
You probably get this a lot. What do you do if you're in a band with great musicians, but they are douchebags? Cheers.
Well, is anything happening with the band? Are you guys gigging a lot? Are you touring? Are you making money? Then stick with them. If nothing's happening and you're just putting up with a bunch of douchebags, fucking leave. Go write your own stuff and maybe find some people you'll get along with better. Life is far too short to spend it being miserable, folks. Pursue your dreams, and if somebody's getting in the way, then go around that person and keep going. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Question, is it better to use live drums that aren't professionally recorded, or a drum program on a computer on a rock metal track? Big fan, by the way.
Really depends on what you want to do. I mean, like, crappy recorded drums can have a certain charm to them. If you want the big superhero artificial type sound, that works too. It's just everybody seems to be doing it these days, and it seems the art of recording drums is becoming sort of lost. See this next part.
Hey Glenn, I got an interesting question. Did you ever experience a situation when musicians stole something from your studio? How to prevent this from happening? What measures to take besides calling the police?
Well, I'm in kind of a unique situation right now. I mean, like, if somebody steals something from my studio, I could just merely call them out on my channel and say, if you're thinking on booking these guys, you better lock down your stuff, otherwise it might go missing. Honestly, though, nobody's really stolen anything. I think somebody stole a roll of tape from me at one point, but that's about it. It's pretty simple, actually. If something goes missing, I'll just add that value onto the bill for the final recording, and then they can pay for it that way.
Hey Glenn, I just bought a Lewitt 640 Rex mic. Any advice on how to use it on my kick?
Yeah, actually, make sure you've got a front port in your skin, some Falam Slam pads on your kick, and away you go. The two elements are great. You can blend them. They sound amazing. Just remember, you got to go to separate preamps and then blend in software or on a small board or something like that. Killer mic, my upcoming lesson producing prog metal, we use this mic extensively, and that's going to be available real soon, and I'm going to go through a whole step-by-step on how I mix with that, so you might want to check that out.
What would you say is important to know before starting recording school?
The best advice I can give you about starting recording school is just remember, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. If you go to school and you don't put in any effort to learn something, you're not going to succeed. Nobody's going to hand it to you. They can give you the knowledge, they can give you the tools, but you have to apply yourself every single day to improve your skills. It's not an on switch. This is like becoming a painter or a great guitar player. It just takes time. Good luck though.
I've used Macs for years as an illustrator and designer, but I just can't recommend it anymore. It just works, died with jobs. Their pro machines aren't pro either. I have both now, Windows 10 and Mac OS, and I use Windows for all the heavy lifting now. Windows 10 has its problems, but I don't need to drop $5K on it for a box. If you absolutely have to use a Mac, get a Hackintosh at the very least. They're not hard to build, and you get the better hardware options of the PC platform.
That's a very cool and well thought out argument. I might look into that at some point. I'd really like to check out the whole Mac system, maybe do a series on that. I think that'd be really cool. But if you watch the Rick Beato show, he is definitely against the newer Macs because, yeah, they don't just work anymore. There's a lot of unnecessary bullshit being thrown in the way, and, a system that was simple and worked might not be the same way anymore. And that's a real shame.
Hey, Glenn, you're a knob, but we love turning you on.
That's terrifying.
I know you love real drum recordings, but what do you think of the tune-track programs like Superior Drummer, Easy Drummer for us mere simpletons who can't play drums, don't have the space, or the funding? I love to have the time to get together a drummer, but alas, family and unfortunately work life come first. Would it be great if you did something on fake drums at least once? Love the show, keep up the good work, and blow as much Line 6 crap up as you like.
Actually, that's not a half bad idea. I should really investigate. And I get it, man. I mean, like if you're a kid in your bedroom and you want to write music, the tune track stuff is spectacular for writing and whatnot. Actually, the new DrumForge plugin is magnificent for that and as well. Like I said, my problem isn't with the kid working in his bedroom. My problem is I think recording real drums is becoming a lost art, and we're not really hearing drummers anymore. By all means, write what you can, and if that's all you can afford to do, that's all you can afford to do. But I wish the bands, the bigger bands with the budgets and the studio space would remember what a drummer actually sounds like. And Warren and I were discussing this last week. It would be really cool if we had more bands playing in the studio live off the floor and capture some of that interaction instead of getting this, completely sanitized and censoring out the human element crap that we've been getting for so often, so lately, for about the last 10 years. That stuff has really got to end. All right, everybody, that's it for this show. Make sure you're subscribed. Please hit the notification bell. And if you really want to learn how to record drums, make sure to check out that URM Academy lesson. That's going to be the first link in the description below. It's totally worth it. And they've got over 20 hours of videos, and it just breaks down everything. It's totally worth checking out. Thanks again. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. I'll see you on Sunday with something really cool.